Hey APUSH students, here's period 9 in just 3 minutes. Period 9 starts in 1980 with the election of Ronald Reagan. Between the Iranian hostage crisis and a wave of conservatism, Republican Ronald Reagan won the presidency in the election of 1980. His campaign focused on shrinking the size of the federal government, decreasing spending, and supply-side economics, which is known as Reaganomics. But while Reagan decreased spending by cutting Great Society programs, he increased defense spending. For example, he supported the Strategic Defense Initiative, which is also known as Star Wars, in the ongoing arms race with the Soviet Union. But Reaganomics was criticized because corporations and the wealthy benefited from his tax cuts, while many argued these benefits failed to trickle down to the working class. Reagan was also criticized for his role in the Iran-Contra affair, but most of Reagan's foreign policy was focused on ending the Cold War. He and Gorbachev focused on more diplomatic solutions, including his famous speech at the Berlin Wall. Ultimately, the Cold War ended in 1991 under President George H.W. Bush with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of the Soviet Union. For the remainder of period 9, foreign policy is focused on the growing crisis in the Middle East. For example, President Bush sent American forces into Kuwait during the Gulf War, which is also known as Operation Desert Storm. The goal was to prevent further aggression from Saddam Hussein, the Iraqi leader who had invaded Kuwait. And in 2001, President George W. Bush announced a war on terror following the September 11, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center. American forces were dispatched in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom to combat terrorism, remove Saddam Hussein from power, and to capture Osama bin Laden. Meanwhile, domestic policy in period 9 is dominated by increasing political polarization. Since 1980, the Democrat and Republican parties have intensely debated issues like federal spending and immigration policies, as well as social issues like abortion and gay marriage. And the parties argued over how the federal government should respond to national crises like the Great Recession and the COVID-19 pandemic. Migration and immigration are also a big part of period 9. The Midwest, which was once known as the Steel Belt, transformed into the Rust Belt because of a decline in manufacturing and overseas competition. And international migration from Latin America and from Asia increased dramatically, which led to political debates and an increase in nativism. The new immigrants influenced American culture and supplied the economy with an important labor force. And the final topic of period 9 is globalization. With new technologies like personal computers, the internet, cell phones, and social media, the world is more interconnected than ever. Economies are also connected through groups like the World Trade Organization and the North American Free Trade Agreement. So to bring us full circle, globalization is like the Columbian Exchange that we talked about in period 1. It brings people, goods, and ideas closer together, and it aims to grow global economies through increased trade, new industries, and new markets. Thanks for watching, and if you want more APUSH helps like study guides, timelines, and summary videos, make sure you check out the Ultimate Review Packet.